at a music festival in Solingen.
3 people were killed in the attack, with 8 others wounded.
Authorities probing the sinking of a super yacht off the Sicilian coast that resulted in 7 fatalities have launched a manslaughter investigation.
We have opened a case against unknown individuals under the suspicion of negligent shipwreck manslaughter, stated Ambrosio Cartosio, the chief prosecutor of Termini Imerese, Sicily.
Ukraine and Russia exchanged 115 prisoners of war each, totaling 230 individuals in a swap brokered by officials in the United Arab Emirates on Saturday.
82 of the Ukrainian prisoners were captured during the defense of Mariupol by Russian forces.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, the former long-serving director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, has been hospitalized with the West Nile virus and is now recovering at home.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Still too hot on the
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking.
iHeartRadio.
That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
I make you laugh, do I? At me? What am I, funny? Clown? You know, I'm not doing this. All right, come on, guys. Freaking band. Like they get paid by the note. All right. Gee. Good morning, folks. Monday. Excited to go back to work. I'm sure you are. It is Monday, August 26, 2024. A beautiful summer day here. Couldn't be any better, and that makes me happy. I live by the weather. The weather is nice. I'm in a good mood, generally. If you haven't heard, it looks like Donald Trump is chickening out. He's doing a Sir Robin. He's chickening out of the debate. I don't have the chicken sound effect ready. I thought I did, but we don't need the chicken sound effect to let us know that he's chickening out. People still making a big deal over this RFK endorsement and what it actually means. It means nothing. Nobody's going to vote for that dweeb anyway. So anyway, we do have a great show for you today. We have an actual real comedian, not like one of these chumps, these open mic chump losers. Like, I don't know, like, I'm not going to mention any names, but we have a good one today. One who has actually done something with his life and his career. I want to talk to him about his marathon stand-up thing, because I've had at least 24 comedians on this program who think they have the world record for longest stand-up. Who think they do. I say again, one more time, they think they do, or they've boasted about it on this program. And I always come back to, I don't think you do, because I look it up in Guinness Book. I don't have the Guinness Book here to look up today, but I trust that today's guest actually has it. We'll find out. Anyway, so that's what we're going to get to. What's going on over there? We have some police ready knocking down my door. I didn't even say anything that bad yet. They're coming to take me away. Hey, oh. Anyway, yeah, so we have a live poll today. Let me bring up the poll. We have a live poll, and the poll question of the day. Can I do this without? See, the link to the poll is in the description here, and there it is. It's YouTube.com /at minddog/community. The poll question is: would you rather die of brain worms or ass cancer? Now, I pretty much don't have a choice. I may have a brain worm, but it's not killing me. The ass cancer, though, murder. It's just murder. But I'll let you sit with that for a moment. We're going to meet the cast of deplorables in just one moment. First, we have a commercial for you from the Daily High Club. You know what? Daily High Club has been one of our most loyal sponsors. Why do you stick with the Daily High Club? Well, I like to get high daily. That's why. Check it out, Daily High Club.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place.
Not a game.
With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
Let's get the party started now. What's going on here? See, they did manipulate it just a little bit, didn't they? Oh, no, that's about right. Isn't that about right? I don't know. No, this is right.
I think that's right.
No, that was right. I had it right. Why is it looking a little weird to me? This morning we have with us you're supposed to be on the left, I think.
Oh, GD's always underneath me. He looks up at my butthole.
Maybe I got a brain worm. I don't know. The fabulous Steven Sitcom Ortiz, our lingerie salesman of the year, Ron Kane, and my best friend of the last 37 years, Mr. H.R. McMaster. Good morning, H.R. Hey, MR. HR.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Are you tired of people talking down to you? Well, maybe if you weren't so ignorant, we wouldn't have to. Ignorance is a choice. And if you choose to be ignorant, welcome home. MindDogTV.com, the home of mercenaries and ignorance. Enjoy the suffering.
Well, now, what prompted that little? Was that directed at me? Did I do something? I just feel.
Actually, no. That was my third option of things to do. My first option, I was going to address the growing epidemic of ass cancer because of all the politics.
I'm telling you, brutal.
Our butts. Yeah,
brutal. Ass cancer is one of the. I wouldn't wish it on anybody except Donald Trump.
Well, he's the Republican Party has a broad tent, and they accept all weirdos. It seems, because they got Kennedy, J.D. Vance, so they have a pretty broad tent.
I called you H.R. McMaster this morning because he's in the news. H.R. McMaster was part of Trump's team, and he admitted in an interview on the Sunday morning shows that the first impeachment of Donald Trump was on the money. Actually, Trump delayed military equipment to Ukraine to help Putin. He admitted that. Came out like he's got no problem now. He's still a Trump guy, but he came out and just said, "Yeah, he should have been impeached for that. He actually was doing that to help Putin."
Yeah,
a little late.
But I think only the ignorant didn't know that.
Yeah, right. But to admit it is a whole different thing. I mean, you could know that, but like John Gotti, you could know he was the Don, but if you admit it in open court, that's a whole different.
Well, if you can't,
he admitted they're friends, right?
I'm sorry, Steve. I heard a voice. It sounded like Steven. What did Steven say?
Well, he's admitted they're friends, right? They've admitted they're friends. They talk on the phone all the time. Like, it's not a stretch
That's a
to
little
see that he was
different
helping him
than
as
admitting
president.
that you set an enemy up to beat a ally.
I mean,
military
are we really enemies? I mean, yes,
Yeah.
we're enemies, but is Donald Trump and Putin enemies? No, they're butt
All right.
buddies.
So you're a Trumper now. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying the opposite of that. I'm
right.
saying the opposite of that.
All right.
So you're still a Kennedy guy.
Dude, I'm all about them brainworms, man. I can't get enough.
We have a poll, and this is what I'm curious in. Now, would you rather die of brainworms? And I'm not sure the brainworms actually end up killing you. Or in one brainworm, I think he has to have a family to make tunnels and stuff. But brainworms or ass cancer? Take your pick now. Vote in the poll. I want to see how this comes out.
I think ass cancer is more treatable.
No. Forget about treatable. You're going to die of it. Which would you rather die of? Brainworms or ass cancer?
And I don't know.
It'd have to be the ass cancer because I cherish my brain.
Well,
although the brainworms probably, the brain doesn't have nerve endings, so you wouldn't feel them eating, but you would feel the consequences of sections of your brain disappearing.
It's a tough choice. It's a tough choice.
Rough. I don't know.
I'm gonna go with brainworms because I don't want to know, and the brainworms would make you just like at least not know. But the ass cancer, you're gonna know. You're gonna be well aware of it, that your ass is hurting. And
but I do stand-up comedy, so I'm not worried about sitting down anyway. So
I exclusively sit down. So
you
I
will
definitely
be laying,
need my ass.
You will be laying in bed in hospice. This is the thing. You're gonna with these things. You'll be laying in bed in hospice, and your ass is just gonna be killing you, or your brain is just gonna be like, I think I'll run for president.
I could. Well, at least in the hospice, I have a captive audience that I could probably kill. When I perform. So
your
hospice also means unlimited amounts of drugs.
So you're all going. It sounds like you're all going with ass cancer. Is that the consensus here?
Ron hasn't consents to anything. Ron, go ahead and consent.
He's just so outspoken. This is the way he expresses himself.
That's how he drives the polls.
Right.
With his influence.
Yeah.
Good. Consent.
Where are you taking your poll? In your ass cancer or your brainworms?
Ron, would you shut up already? When you were in Taos,
Silent Ron.
Yes, he is like that. The burger, what is the burger place in Burger Shack or something like that in Taos? Is that where you performed in Taos, or did you perform in Taos when you were there?
I did not perform in Taos when I was there.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, we visited some of my wife's family that live in.
So you just stopped there to flood the town, start fires, and then leave?
Yeah, I was looking for venues. There isn't much in the way of venues in Taos except for one.
Wow. And it's a burger place that Chad hosts like an open mic there every Wednesday night, I think. Burger Shack. Anyway. It's time to meet our first guest. Would you like to meet our first guest? Our only guest that we have booked today. What are you doing? You're taking my spot. Don't ever take my spot. Chad Ridden, as I said, is a real comedian, unlike you guys and everybody else we have on this show. No,
Jeez.
Actually,
what a dick.
I know. I know. But at least I know. Most dicks don't know they're dicks. I actually know
That's true.
I have
anything.
I have a reminder. That's just a sign.
You mean a mirror?
Remember, you are a dick.
You mean your mirror?
Yeah.
That's your reminder.
Chad,
you can be anything in life. Be yourself.
Listen to the you guys are gonna wet your pants when I read this.
I read it. I didn't wet my pants when I read it.
Oh, Chad has performed with Bill Burr, Dane Cook, Mike Birbiglia, Ralphie May, Tom Green, Killer Bees, who's been on this program, who I mispronounced his name when he was on this program, Hannibal Buress, Doug Stanhope, Mark Marin, Nate Bagatti, and a whole list of others. And he's been on the Daily Show and late night with Letterman. And this is what his career has come to, being on Coffee with the Dog. Anyway, welcome, Chad. Good morning from Taos, New Mexico. Look at you up in the high plains, as they say. Good morning.
Yeah, the high desert. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm a whore. I'll do anything. As evidenced by my resume, right? And you guys are sitting on open micers. Listen, we're all dirtbag open micers. Every famous comedian you've ever heard of got their start at an open mic somewhere. So don't shit on them. They're the future, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm not particularly shitting on open micers. I'm shitting on these three guys up here.
Well, same thing. They're the future of comedy.
Not me. I'm too old to be the future of comedy.
He's the past.
Don't ever discount yourself. Rodney Dangerfield didn't get famous till he was an old fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I'm an older fuck than he was when he got, and he started actually young. He just reinvented himself as an old fuck. And
right, yeah, there's still hope. There's still hope. I still think of George Burns as an old man. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, with the question of the day, would you rather die of brain worms or ass cancer? Do you have a choice?
Well, I mean, I think I'm scheduled for brain worms. I've got Alzheimer's dementia in my family, and that's my biggest fear is that's how I go. And so I'm hoping I'm building off the grid out here, and I'm building a little room where as soon as I forget that I shouldn't go in there, I walk in there and I die. It's just a kill room. So I won't do the whole bit, but basically that's it. Like I'm terrified of losing my mind, and it's gonna happen. And I talk to my daughter about this all the time. It's like, how are we gonna know? Because I meow at people in the grocery store for fun. You know, how do we know when I've lost my shit? So you know that's my biggest. Oh, my friend, brilliant comedian Jesse Case had ass cancer in his 20s. He had stage 4 cancer, and they found it early. I mean, they didn't find it early. they found that his mom has an association with Vanderbilt University, and they got him the best care in the world, and he's cancer free today. But check out Jesse Case online. He's got a whole bunch of stuff about ass cancer you guys would love.
Does he still have his ass, or did they have to remove it?
I don't know all the details. I haven't looked at his butt lately, but
check out his ass for us, please.
It was not a great. It wasn't a great scene there for a while. I think he went through chemo and stuff instead of surgery.
They found it early stage 4.
Early stage 4. They got it. They nipped it in the bud. I guess I would take brain worms for the same reason. Like I think cancer's horrible, but and I've already accepted I'm going to die of brain stuff anyway, or lose my mind anyway. So who cares?
I'd rather die from brain stuff than butt stuff.
Yeah, I'll take brain stuff over butt stuff any day.
Okay.
Well, it's possible, like me, because I keep my brain in my ass, that they will both be like working together.
That's right.
So
yeah, how many times have they told us that our heads are up our ass? So flip a coin. Who cares?
Yeah. Now, Glenn Campbell. This is what my I don't know, optimism is. Glenn Campbell had severe dementia, Alzheimer's dementia. But he was still a happy guy and could still play music. And if that's what it's like, I could sign up for that. I mean, being a happy idiot.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm a happy old senile man. Like I went and took care of my uncle. He's got full blown dementia, and I took care of him for a few weeks last year, and it was an ugly scene. He's been stockpiling guns his whole life, and they're hidden in the ceiling, the walls, the floors. There's a cave behind the house. It's under the house. Like every time like a healthcare worker would come over, he would try to murder them, and it was my job to stop those murders and take the guns away. But every time we took guns away, like more showed up. It was nuts. I hope I don't go that route. I hope I'm just giggling and drooling or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, that kill room, that's my saving grace. I hope I would like to die at the ripe old age of 69. I think that's the funniest age to die at. Nice. But you don't get to choose. So well, sometimes you choose, I guess.
You're talking to people, a couple of people here who are banging on the door at 69. That's not such a ripe old age. That's a ripe old reality.
Banging is probably an exaggeration. It's more like hello. It's like tapping a a weak tap. I'm here.
Yeah,
clawing. It's like clawing.
So you're building a like an off the grid. Compound is probably not the word, but an off the grid. What is it?
I don't have the money for a compound. I'm building a house off the grid right now, and we'll see what comes after that. But yeah, I came out here to build an Earth ship, which is basically developed right here in Taos. It's using upcycled materials, and you're growing your own food. You're collecting rainwater into a cistern, and it doesn't need HVAC. It doesn't need air conditioning or heating to maintain the temperature. It's like passive solar, so it's a south-facing greenhouse, and you should look them up. There's a documentary on Amazon Prime called Garbage Warrior, but if you look on YouTube, there's thousands of videos of Earth ships being built, and they're really beautiful. It's like taking ancient techniques, Adobe and whatnot, but then modern architecture to be completely self-sufficient and off the grid with your structure, and have the house take care of you instead of you always taking care of your house. So like that's what I'm building out here. Yeah.
My question is, because you're talking about using ancient technology, and you mentioned Adobe, and Adobe is like on every computer there is right now.
Oh.
So I'm something at a loss. And the other thing is, how much rainwater do you get to collect out in Dallas? I don't know what the average rainfall is.
And like after the end of the world, do they keep billing you that $69 a month?
Yeah, we get about 7 to 9 inches a year of rain, and so like you really have to be careful. So the beauty of the Earth ship design is you filter the water, you have it in a cistern, but like you'll use it, take showers in the sink and whatnot. But then that water, the gray water from the shower, goes into a botanical cell that waters your greenhouse for you. And all that, the plants filter the water, and then it's reused. It's pumped into flush the toilets. So you're using the water like 3-4 times before it goes out to septic. So like you really do have to conserve and pay attention. And rainwater collection, having a lot of roof rainwater collection is very important. But yeah, it's an art trying to stay alive.
They do the same thing. I mean, Steven drinks GD's bathwater, so.
Well, a bunch of dirty hippies out here have tried to convince me to drink my own pee whenever I do mushrooms. They're like, you get extra high and you're not wasting, you're pissing away all this mushroom stuff. And I'm like, listen, you guys aren't going to trick me. I don't need to be that high. I'm not drinking my own piss. I'm so sorry. This isn't.
So James Inman. James Inman is.
I've not met James. I know of him through the Stanhope cult, but I don't know James personally, unfortunately.
He drank Andy Andrews' piss because he thought there was still some hallucinogens left in it, I guess.
Yeah, he's not alone. There's people who do that, and I'm not one of them.
It sounds like
you're the first person I've heard say Stanhope's cult other than me. And I took a lot of heat because I had a video on YouTube about him developing a cult. There is a cult, and people want to. Every year now they're doing this. Well, not every year. It started last year, but they're doing it again this year. A show out in Bisbee. And people are like, "Why don't you go out there?" And I'm like, "I don't want to get lumped in with the cult of Stanhope. I like him. I'm a huge fan of him."
I'm proud to be in that. I've got my own cult here. I don't own anything. This is all owned by the Holy Motherfucking Trinitarian Church, and I'm glad that they allow me to be here. But yeah, I'm replicating what Doug's done in Bisbee here on a much shittier level. No, I'm proud to be in that cult. I'll proselytize his little vision any day. Good.
They have to change the name though. That termites thing. That's not for me. I'm not a termite guy.
Yeah,
I'm more of a
you need a cute mascot that you can sell T-shirts and stuff. So I'm all about squirrels. So I've got the spiffy squirrel.
All right. He's a mercenary, folks. We got a mercenary with us. Now, when our chief lingerie correspondent, Ron Kane, was out in Taos a while ago, he started fires and floods and then left you just hanging there. He said there was only one place to perform comedy in Taos. Is that this burger shack, burger place?
At Taos Ale House is a great spot. I do an open mic there once a month. We'll do more often soon. But, there was no comedy here 2 years ago. And so your first step is to start an open mic because you're training audiences and you're training comics. and you're getting people used to going to a show and sitting down and being quiet and not talking the whole time. Because like a music show, everybody's trying to get laid and they're power drinking and they're talking the whole time. And with comedy, you really have to sit down and focus. So it takes a minute to teach people that. But yeah, it's been very successful. We pack those crowds out. And, we just slowly build. So I've got a weekly show every Monday night at Soldados, which is an American Legion post out here. And they're very supportive. That's a beautiful venue. Nice venue. But there's a couple other. There's like a Taos Center for the Arts has got a big theater, Wildflower Theater. There's a few others, but most of the places in town you could perform are just, bars with a stage. And there's only like 2 or 3 of those, honestly. So
yeah.
But
I don't remember ever seeing a comedy club when I was in New Mexico.
No.
And I've been all over the state, but
yeah, there really isn't much, honestly. Like Santa Fe has a very small scene. There's no club there, but they've got some shows they're doing in other venues. Albuquerque now has 3 comedy clubs just in the last 2 years. Dry Heat Comedy Club was started by a couple lesbian ladies, and they're doing very good. It's very closely tied to the local scene. There's another one in a casino and a new one. So like it's up and coming, but there's not a lot of comics in New Mexico that travel outside of the state and or travel within the state. Even they generally go back and forth between Santa Fe and Albuquerque. So I'm trying to change that. Like that was the whole point really, is I'm trying to set up a tour out here so I can trick my friends into coming to see me instead of me driving to see them. And this last month I did 12. I set up a run of 12 shows across New Mexico for Sean Smith, this brilliant Australian comic who is a working prostitute and also just a genius. And so she opened for Stanhope when he was down in Australia last time, and he's been singing her praises ever since. And so I befriended her pretty much immediately because anybody Doug endorses, I'm all about. And she is great. She came up here and sold out every show. And so we did that was the first tour I produced for somebody across New Mexico. And it was really amazing to see people pack it out because she does have an amazing story and is brilliant. But like we're building something out here, man. I'm really trying to jumpstart comedy in this area and train these comics up and get them out on the road making money. It's fun.
You pronounce her name Sean? Because I was like, how do you pronounce it? I've been following her for a while.
Yeah.
I did not know how to pronounce her name.
I guess it's the Irish. She's got of Irish descent, but she's from Australia. But yeah, Sean, Sian Smyth. She's truly great. And so it's nice because it was her first time to America, and I could see her processing the bullshit propaganda of America every day. And then her act continuously evolved where she was kind of figuring out how full of shit America is and then talking about it on stage every night. It was something to see. Truly amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now she, as you mentioned, she is how do you say it? Practicing a full-time
working girl.
A prostitute.
Yeah.
Like
she's a sex worker. It's decriminalized in Australia. And that was part of like the brilliant story of it. Like she's been raped a lot of times. And like you definitely know somebody who's been sexually assaulted or raped. We all do. It's a very painful subject. People don't like talking about it, but it really resonates because there are not, I've never heard anybody else in comedy talking about being a sex worker and being raped with such skill and humor. Like she's very, very funny. And so she's taken the venom out of these very painful subjects, and people would come up to her after the show crying and hugging her saying, I love you so much. Thank you so much. This is so great. But they were laughing the whole time, so it was really therapeutic for a lot of people. But then also like her comparing, like, listen, she's a decriminalized sex worker. So she has a union, she has health insurance, she has assigned therapists. And then like the government actually paid for like mental patients to come and visit a sex worker because they recognize that is something that they need for their health. So she gets paid by the government to have sex with mentally insufficient people. I guess I don't know how to say it right, but but yeah, it's an amazing.
You can just say Republican.
It's such a crazy story, but I'm sorry I missed that. But
he said you could say Republicans.
Oh. Yeah, evangelical Christian idiots. Yeah. She gets no.
Because I noticed she was like in America and particularly in New Mexico. I was like, that's a very weird, travel arrangement from Australia to New Mexico. I don't think anybody ever. I don't want. So you're responsible for bringing her to New Mexico?
Yeah. So she booked a couple of weeks in L.A. She landed in L.A. and did a couple of weeks there and was really freaking out because, what when you just seen the United States on TV and in film, you have an impression of what it is. And then you get here and you see it's not that. She saw the homeless people in Los Angeles who are comedians right next to multimillionaires who, and she just kept talking about how dystopian it is. And it's a good reminder that a lot of what we take for granted every day is complete bullshit. And she kept calling this a third world country. You really should check her out. She's a brilliant lady. But yeah, so she was in Los Angeles for a couple of weeks, and then Las Vegas, and then I booked her for a run of shows through New Mexico. And I only planned to have her here for 7-8 days, but they loved it so much they canceled the shows in Austin and Nashville and stuck around here just to do more stuff. So we did a bunch of secret shows and pop-up shows, and those all sold out too. So it was pretty amazing, the response.
Wow, I got to get in touch with her, see if we get her up here to do Govs. We have 3 comedy clubs. We should be able to give her at least a week's work.
Totally. So we're planning. I'm going to produce a nationwide tour for her next year, and so we're planning for that now. So we'll go across the country. Like her travel partner and partner in life is Duvie Jester, another Australian comic who's very, very funny, and so. The 3 of us will go across the country sometime next year doing a tour. So
I have to make a connection for you. I don't know if you've ever done Govs here on Long Island, but Andrea, who books the shows for Governors Clubs, I got to connect you with her so that you guys could make this part of your tour.
Yeah, please. I'd love it. Yeah, hit me up.
Very cool. Now, you're originally from Tennessee, correct?
No, I was raised in Chicago, and then we moved to Tennessee when I was in middle school. Quite a culture shock. But my dad's from Tennessee, and so we moved back to live on the family home place, and I never really fit in well. I just made fun of everybody, and that turned out pretty great. But then I ended up living in Nashville for a couple decades, and when I started doing comedy in Nashville. There was just one open mic a week and one comedy club, which is very, very good, but that was it. And I worked really hard to try to develop the scene out. And now there's 3 full-time comedy clubs. There's 3 or 4 open mics a night and 2 or 3 book shows outside of the club system, which is very, very good. And I'm not saying I did that, but my nonprofit did that. Nashville Stand Up did that. Me and my friends did that. And so once I moved here, I was like, I knew what to do, I just knew I hit the ground running out here and started Taos Comedy as a nonprofit and just started slapping together shows. And it's been pretty great.
Very cool. Now, you did run for governor in Tennessee, right? Yeah. Or is that imaginary? Or
no, it's real. People didn't like it, but I did. I ran for mayor of Nashville in 2015, and that was hilarious. Everybody loved it. We all had a great laugh. But then I felt really hopeless once Trump was elected. I felt really. I just felt lost and helpless because it's like the people I've been fighting my entire life were winning, and I just didn't know what to do, and I didn't feel very funny either. But I was just very frustrated, and I was like, you know what? Put your money where your mouth is. And so I ran for governor, and I thought, okay, the mayor thing was fun. This will be a larger platform, a larger stage, and I can talk about these statewide issues and by proxy, those people, and do comedy and still have this thing I could talk about, this theme, I guess, for the year or two. And people hated it because the political charged people did not want a comedian. Novelty candidates were not in vogue in 2017, 2018. And so
you just said Trump won.
Right.
That's a novelty candidate if ever there was one.
That's what I'm saying. Like people were so mad about Trump being in office. They certainly did not want me, a comedian, running for governor. And then the comedy audiences were like just looking for an escape from all that, and they did not want somebody talking about politics. And so I was making enemies everywhere I went. But and it was kind of crazy. There were 28 candidates on the ballot that year, 2018, for governor, the most in any gubernatorial race in the history of the United States. And I came in 14th. I had like 1,096 votes or something like that. Just like 3 million short of winning the whole damn thing. So it came pretty close. But I knew I could get like 200 or 300 just because of the numbers I do when I do shows. But I didn't expect like 1,000. But I don't know. It was fun. It wasn't fun. It was actually very depressing because I pledged that I wasn't going to spend a dime on the campaign, and I used to work in television. That was my background, is broadcasting, and I just knew that like every TV station I worked for was in the red 3 years in a row, and then election season comes around, and all of a sudden those political ads pay the bills for the next 4 years, and I just knew that I would not get on TV as an independent candidate. I just knew, and that's all I talked about is like, I'm not spending any money on this campaign. And there were other people who spent millions of dollars who did not do as good as I did, but so I just wanted to push the conversation in a progressive direction. And I did that. Like Bill Lee, the governor now, like he and the Democratic candidate, Carl Dean, they kept stealing my talking points. Like when we would do events together, they would start saying the same stuff I was saying like 2 weeks later, which was the point, it was the whole point, is to put words in their mouth, and it worked.
Wow. I'm running for Congress here, but I've been trying to get off the ballot for about 6 months now, and I don't know how to get off the ballot. I tried to just give up and walk away, but I'm still on the ballot. I'm probably going to get one vote. Me, I'm going to vote for myself. I would love to get several thousand. That would be a good thing. It would be an amazing thing. But in New Mexico, you only have about 3,000 registered voters. You could probably be governor of that state.
I'll never run for office again. Like it's just, it about ruined my life. It really did a lot of damage in a lot of different areas. I'll never do it again. I think it's
wow.
Did
a lot of damage in a lot of different areas. This is a curious statement, but we'll leave it for another day.
I mean, you honestly, if you want to run for office in this country, you have to be a millionaire, and you have to be a psychopath on some level, like because it's just you're sacrificing a lot of things, and it just and that was kind of the point of my running, is to just prove how full of shit the whole process is. It's
I agree. That's why I'm running. That basically.
Yeah.
That's why I started running.
Good luck. It's
I'm not going to get any votes. I know I'm not going to win. That wasn't the point. The point was like what you were saying. Basically, I wanted to highlight this idea of no money, because you know what? You're not going to get on television, but the amount of money we waste is just so fucking insane. We're talking about people, $1 million in lawn signs. I mean, couldn't we feed people with that $1 million? Because those lawn signs are not going to change anybody's fucking mind. Nobody ever changed.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm going to change my vote because of a lawn sign.
Right. Now, but if the lawn signs were made of edible material, once they were done, once the campaign was over, people could be fed with the lawn signs.
Yeah,
that's why we keep you here.
If we could build some homes out of all these lawn signs, we'd be getting somewhere. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes. See, you have to think outside the box. You just don't go poo-pooing on lawn signs until you realize that there's some good left in them.
Taos. I know a little bit about that. Well, I haven't been in Taos in 30 years, to be honest with you. But
it hasn't changed much at all.
People I know there we're talking about cults earlier, were from a real cult, like a healing cult.
There's cults here for sure.
Yeah, a lot of healers.
A little hippie conclave here and there, and then there's the Earth cult. That's a big one.
Why is that a magnet for people who with strange belief systems, or I don't want to say, but they cluster in whatever belief systems they have and become cult-like? Why is that the place to go if you're in a cult?
I'm not sure exactly. They say the mountain accepts you or rejects you. I realized that I've been trying to get here my whole life, But like, yeah, it's there's Roswell to the south, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on around here. I know 4 people who say they've had personal interactions with Sasquatch. I know a lady who tells me the area where the vampires live. Another lady talked to me about werewolves for 2 days. Like it's a strange place full of strange stuff for sure.
I think I know them all. I think I know all those people, because the problem I had with them was it's one thing to adopt like a off the rails kind of belief system, but I found that when people did that, they would be more likely to go all in on all of them. And Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, everything becomes real then once you start to believe these things, and that's like, wow. I mean, everybody was abducted by aliens. Everybody saw Sasquatch, all that stuff. And there was no line.
I've never seen Sasquatch. I don't know about the vampire and werewolf thing. That seems a little wacky. That lady was a little off, I think. But I mean, I've seen UFO shit, and that's scary and delightful at the same time. But like, I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff in the world, man, and there's a lot of weird people around here. It's like kind of it is a magnet for weirdos for sure.
Yeah.
But UFO just means unidentified flying object. So if somebody threw like a baseball across the sky and nobody went, whoa, I can't identify that baseball becomes a UFO because nobody could identify.
Oh, for sure. I didn't see a baseball. What I saw was it looked like somebody kicking in warp drive. It was it looked like if you've played the new Zelda games, like a magic wand shooting like sparkles out of it. It looked like somebody pinched the sky, pulled it back, and let go of a rubber band, and like a magic wand shot for a while and then disappeared. It was a very weird. It looked like Star Trek: The Next Generation type takeoff.
That's very specific, and it sounds like somebody has been drinking urine-laced, mushroom-laced urine.
I prefer urine-laced mushrooms, actually.
I was totally sober, and I was totally sober when I saw that, and I couldn't. And I was just like, "Whoa, well, that's new. Good Lord, that was crazy."
Holy crap!
It's pretty nuts.
So now let's get to this world record thing. You did do like a world record stand-up thing, right? Because I've had, and I think Husky Boyo, he's in Brock. Brett Brock is in there. He's one. I think he was on when Carlos was talking about a marathon stand-up show. I've had so many comedians who had different marathon week-long.
I did one.
Yeah.
Are you in the Guinness Book?
Yeah, totally. So Brett Brock was there. He's a brilliant artist. You guys should check him out. But my friend, comedian DJ Buckley in Nashville is another crazy person, and he's so delightful. But he kept coming to me with pitching ideas for publicity stunts. And so one of them he said was, we should break the Guinness World Record for the longest stand-up comedy show, multiple comedians. And that really clicked immediately because Vince Vaughn co-produced the Nashville Comedy Festival. At the time, it was called the Wild West Comedy Festival. That's his branding. He co-produced that with the owner of Zanies, Brian Dorfman. And that first year they did it, there were only 2 Nashville comedians in the whole lineup, is Mike James and me. And the only reason I was on the show was because Mark Maron, my friend, was in town, and he recorded a podcast, and then he did sets at Zanies, and he brought me with him to open up at Zanies, and so like, you know, I was talking to Dorfman about it and Vince, and I was like, you know, if you're doing the Nashville Comedy Festival, you need Nashville comics in it, and you know, he made a good point. He's like, I can't put open micers up on stage at the Ryman Auditorium in front of Bill Burr. Like, I can't do that. They're going to ruin the show. You're the local comedy, guy. Like, figure out a way to incorporate these people into the festival without ruining everything. And so when DJ pitched that idea, I was like, okay, if the problem is there's not enough stage time for comics, here's a show where we've got so much stage time, we don't know what to do with it. So, like doing a week-long show, like made sense at that point. So like we started before the festival show started and we ended after them. We eclipsed the entire festival that year at the East Room, a beautiful little rock venue in East Nashville where I did my weekly show, Spiffy Squirrel Show. And they do an open mic there once a week too, but they were very supportive. It's impossible to staff a show that's 24/7 or 8 days a week. And, but they did it. And so we had to have 2 independent witnesses at all times representing Guinness, taking notes on start and stop times for comics and like basically auditing the show in real time. We had to have 2 on staff at all times that were not associated with any of the comics or the show, volunteers. And then we had about 120 comedians. So the rules were you had to be a professional comic. That means you had at least 20 paid gigs and the first and at least 1 year prior to the start of the show. So you had to establish like professional credits. And then you had to do at least 15 minutes at a minimum, not a second less. And once but you can do more, but once you come off stage, you can't go back on for 4 hours. So there's those rules in place. There can't be any music. And we said no fucking puppets or, stuff like prop acts. But that was just selfish. We didn't want to watch that. So, so yeah, we did it, man. The previous record was 80 hours. And that was achieved by the Laugh Factory in Los Angeles. And so we did 184 hours and 16 minutes. That's how long our show was, nonstop. And then we thought the only thing dumber than doubling a world record is beating your own record by 5 minutes. So that's what we did every year for the next 4 years as part of the festival is we broke our own record. So now currently the record stands at 184 hours and 31 minutes. And it's pretty crazy. We always said it was the greatest, dumbest thing we've ever done.
Well, I have to push back on one idea. I would pay extra. I mean, I would probably go deep into my bank account to watch Bill Burr come on right after open micers and just fucking tear them apart. To me, that would be.
Well, I saw him. I won't mention the comic's name, but I worked with Bill, 10 years ago, and I saw him one time. The middle act really just burned the room down, and I won't mention his name because he's a brilliant comic. He's great. He just had a bad night, and he just burned the room down, and left with middle fingers blazing and telling the audience to go fuck themselves. And he walked off, and then Bill had to come out and dig out of that hole. So he spent like 15, 20 minutes digging out of that hole and resurrecting the show before he could actually do his act. And it was amazing to watch, but like he was so mad. He was just boiling furious about the whole thing. And I get it.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, his anger is what makes him funny, I think. I mean, it just drives his humor. So,
totally. When he started his podcast, he was recording it on his phone. I forget, I don't know what like service he had, but he would just talk into the phone and then it would spit out as a podcast. And it was so great because he would talk, he would start normal, and then before you know it, he's screaming at the top of his lungs and he can't hold it anymore. And then he has to rein himself in and calm down a little bit. And then he kept having to go out and do the podcast in his car because like his neighbors were complaining that he was screaming for an hour every week, So yeah, it's funny to watch him get mad, but boy, like I don't want to do it. I don't want to be the one to make him mad.
Yeah. So the open micers, though, I'm thinking that's the perfect people to throw up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. if you're doing this nonstop. Because I'm thinking like the only people who are going to enjoy comedy at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever, are hardcore comedy fans. Something or drunk.
Yeah, it was weird. Like we got sponsored by SiriusXM that second year we did it. And so like they wanted us, they called our prime, they wanted our prime time hours, which they thought were 6 p.m. to like 10 p.m. And those were good shows at that time. But we really are, like East Nashville, we got our crowd really starting to show up about 10 p.m. And then it was just popping from like 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. The place was packed. And then we got that third wave of people coming through, because it was all the waitresses, all the servers getting off work at 3-4 in the morning and coming to hang out with us as the after party. So like the other shows in the festival, had rational start times at 7, 8, 9 p.m. And then when people would let out of those audiences would come over to us for the after party, and those comics would come over to us. And so, yeah, we'd be rocking till like 2, 3 in the morning. And then what would happen? It wasn't open micers. It was like the locals, the hardcore local, and then the people in the lineup who really wanted to be there would take over. And so there were a few comics who kind of ran the show from 4 in the morning till 6 in the morning. And they called that the stink hole hour. And it really turned into a cult very fast. Right. It was so crazy, the support, like waitresses at Annie's, the comedy club there.
I was wondering when he was going to hit a dead spot with the Wi-Fi, because he's out in. You just hit a dead spot, and I was wondering sooner or later you had to wherever you are up in the high desert there.
Yeah, sorry. It is storming, and I've got satellite internet, but sorry, I wandered too far. Yeah, yeah. It was incredible, the support we got. It was great.
Brett is in the chat room. He said there had to be a minimum of 10 audience members. Now, how do you distinguish that? Because I'm just thinking they're probably comedians who are just trying to keep the thing going. But you can't get civilians. You can't go out and like drag them in by gunpoint at like 5 in the morning. How do you ensure that you're gonna have?
We did have like good support from the community. Like, yeah, there were some comics just sitting there. We had people like who worked remotely who would bring their laptop and be there at 6, 7 in the morning and just sit down in a booth and have their laptop and coffee and get their work done and hang out with us throughout the day. But also, like, we've built a really good scene of fans who were very, very supportive. And then let's see. Yeah. And then, yeah, the servers at Zanies were very supportive of us, but basically everybody was. But so like when we would have celebrity drop-ins, like Hannibal Buress did the show, Eric Andre did the show. When those people were scheduled to where they told me they were going to drop in, I would just send out a tweet and say, hey, Hannibal Buress is going to be here in 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden you would see 100 people show up, And so I would always chastise them. I'd be like, hey, where were you? Where were you 30 minutes ago? But they're chasing, but they were there. They were kind of in the neighborhood waiting to hang out, and but they were very supportive.
Brett is saying he reached out to the methadone clinic. That's an interesting one. Now, those people wouldn't laugh. They'd be just, I don't know.
Well, I started reaching out to old folks' homes, because like the problem I had with the 10 audience member minimum, the problem I had was during the day. So everybody's drinking all night, they're all worn out. You get about 10 a.m. like you're really hoping audience members show up, and 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, it's difficult to get people to come out to watch comedy. So I was going to go take a bus to old folks' homes and pick up old fossils and bring them in and just put butts in seats to have human beings there. But thank God it didn't come to that,
Yeah, that's a tough one. Now, we lost GD. I don't know if he got arrested or whatever. Something happened to him.
That's what.
It could be. Now, our chief lingerie correspondent up here, he's been to New Mexico recently, as I mentioned before, but he's trying to book like tours out there. He's been in Texas recently. He did have a date recently in Albuquerque, but cool. New Mexico, as you're talking, is there opportunity for people to work there now? In the
absolutely. Like I've set up a run of shows around the Enchanted Circle. It's just a bunch of ski towns up here in the north central part, but I've got places to book people in Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and then up here as well. So like, yeah, I can put together a tour for you if you want. Hit me up. That's the whole point. Is I'm trying to bring comedy
gigs for you. You got how many hours? Dig. He has to come and work on digging holes for you. Is that basically?
No, he doesn't have to, but he's welcome to. Like I am building a comedy club out here on my property. It's going to take a lot of work, and so I really thought my dirtbag van life friends would all just gravitate here immediately, and they come by and they'll hang out for a week. But I'm trying to start a commune out here, dude, and so anybody who wants to help is more than welcome. Hit me up.
We're coming out there to do the show live from there sooner or later.
Please. Yeah, that'd be great.
Do it.
GD, what happened? Did the police come to your house, GD? He's not even listening.
Actually, I don't know. I have no idea. My hotspot says it's working, and all of a sudden I lost you guys, and I thought it was on y'all's end because I could see myself, and then I lost myself.
It was a deep state thing. Deep state
well,
thing.
I switched. I just switched from my regular hotspot to using my phone as my hotspot.
There you go.
Now, Chad, are you by nature a morning person? Listen, when I invited you on the show, I was thrilled that you accepted to be on the show. But then you picked 9:15, which is 7:15 your time on a Monday morning, and I'm like, this is not typical comedian behavior at all. Like, what? Are you typically a morning person at 7:15 in the morning to come on a show like this?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I wasn't, but I don't. The old man in me started waking up at 5 a.m. every day about 15 years ago, and I can't turn it off. I don't know how to stop it.
Wow.
It doesn't matter. Wow. It doesn't matter. You know what? And actually, like Broken Record Show, the World Record Show, like really played into that well because I only need about 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night for whatever reason. And so, yeah, I wake up about 5 in the morning every day, and I wish I didn't, but it doesn't matter how late I stay up. I still pop up before the sun and hit the ground running. So yeah, cool. I know comics are a sleepy bunch. We like to sleep until noon and hang out pretty late, but
the biggest challenge by far getting legitimate comedians on the show is the time. And they look at the time and say, are you fucking crazy? It's morning. Who can be funny in the morning?
Listen, if you're doing comedy for a living and you're touring, you're used to doing morning radio. And if you're not, get used to it, buddy. It's part of the gig.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. That's why I moved to the morning. I used to do a night show, and I thought, morning is where it's at. I grew up on morning radio before Howard Stern, long before Howard Stern. But
hey, Chad, I'll probably be reaching out to you because, got
a shovel?
Yeah, because
bring a pair of work gloves, a water bottle, and some Blissware. You need utensils and a bowl. We'll feed you, but you got to have utensils.
Yeah, because we'll be out there on the 15th. We have something booked already for Dry Heat. So
Dry Heat. That's what I was talking about. Dry Heat's an amazing club. You'll have a good time. Yeah, and swing up here and hang out with us. It'll be fun.
Yeah, we performed.
Well, he probably won't like you because you're too white for him.
Yeah,
he only likes
That's what I can do about that. I can get sunburned. My heart is black and cold. Like that's all I can do.
Mine too. What are you saying, Ron? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. He doesn't talk much, and every time he does, we talk over him.
Yeah, so we performed back there in June, and it had a really good response. So we're coming back there on the 15th of November to record a comedy special for Josh.
Cool.
Record comedy special.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good place to do it. They're good people.
Yeah.
Have either of you met Craig Johnson? Because I don't know if you know, Chad, that Craig Johnson is the reason I invited you on the show, and he told me I had to, so I did. But he's there. He's from Albuquerque, from Chicago, but moved to Albuquerque. And he is like one of the greatest ambassadors for comedy. And if you don't know him, I suggest you do get to know him.
Yeah, I think we met online, and he may have come to a show or two. Good dude, very supportive, and that's what I'm trying to do, man. I'm trying to make the comedy nerds happy out here, and it's working.
Right. Yeah. Now, I'm going over that long list of great comic names that you've worked with. Is there anybody? And this is probably a silly, it's like a GD question, but I'm curious, to anybody you would never worked with that you would really want to work with, like somebody like I would love to work with this person.
You don't have
Um,
to say me, Chad. You don't have to. I know you've been obligated to mention, but
I mean, I honestly want to work with everybody. I've been very, very lucky. I'll say that. Like I mean, I've been doing stand up for 24 years, and like I got past at Zany's very, very quickly, and I had a weekly show there after 3 months after my first open mic, which is unheard of. And I was a house MC there for until about 2005, 2006, and then I went on the road. And because of Zany's, like I've met or worked with literally everybody, and it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute joy. Comics are the best. They're really the funnest people, and I'm incredibly lucky. I don't deserve anything, but I've gotten everything, and so I'm just grateful for the opportunity to hang with any comic. But being able to work with like legends, being able to work with living legends has been such a blessing, because you learn. Like, you first of all, as a comic, 80% of the work you get is from other comics who are like, hey, come with me, but it's always been great and fun, and just a joy. Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody I haven't worked with that I would want to. I mean, I want to work with everybody. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, comics, they can be really brutal in a lot of ways. You push one wrong button, and you will get destroyed over it.
Yeah.
This weekend,
that's the fun. Is like these people who will not put up with bullshit, like the people who will call you on your shit. Like that's my favorite. I would rather be in a room full of comics just tearing me apart than anybody kissing my ass. Like that sucks,
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. But this weekend I posted a thing about Joan Rivers, because I've been doing shorts like about comedy and about music, profiles of people who are great. I posted a thing about Joan Rivers when in her heyday as a stand-up, because most people don't remember when long before the red carpet thing, long before the Tonight Show and all that stuff, she was a trailblazer among lady comics, and one of the few to actually make it into mainstream media and all that kind of stuff.
An absolute icon.
Yeah. I got destroyed for even how dare you bring her up? She was just a phony, and not just one comic, but like 50 emails from comedians who were upset that I took a moment to pay tribute to Joan Rivers. It's like,
dummies, every one of them, because you have to have respect. If you don't understand how hard it is to be a woman in general, like you're out of your mind. But to be a woman in comedy, it's such a boys' club, and everything is stacked against you, and people are sexist and horrible and abusive, and like I made the mistake of dating another comic for a few years. Don't ever do that. It's dating a coworker, and your workplace is every bar in town. It's a foolish thing to do. But the thing I learned was, like, her DMs, her instant messages were just full of my friends saying horrible things to her, sexualizing things that should not be sexualized. It was awful. It was brutal. And so we started screenshotting these and posting them online all the time, hashtagging it expose the dicks, because it is awful. Being a woman in comedy is not easy. And to be as great and brilliant as Joan Rivers was, and as successful as she was, if you think if you try to discount that ever, like you're really exposing yourself as an idiot, because it is not an easy task to do this for a living at all. And as a straight white male who has all of the privilege, I'll tell you, it is not easy. But for a woman to do and to do it as expertly as she did, like, you got to be kidding me. Don't ever say a bad word.
70s.
Yeah, don't ever say a bad word about Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
I started out as a white woman comic, and I turned black. Black to further my career because of how hard it was to be a white woman in comedy.
Well, more power to you. I have so much respect for you then.
As someone
I'm stunned right now, only because that's the first time he's ever made a real comedian laugh.
Well, it's funny. Give them more credit. Come on.
As someone that produces shows, I make it a point not to be the creepy producer guy.
Good.
I don't know if it's working. I don't think it's working.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people I prioritize native comics first because this is New Mexico, and these people have been underrepresented in media, and they're brilliant, and they've got an amazing, very relevant story. And there's a lot of native comics here in New Mexico who are absolutely brilliant, and so I prioritize them when I'm booking. And then women, LGBT. These communities who have been suppressed traditionally by the system and by the comedy system. Also, there's a straight white male on every every show I produce. Already there's a straight white male on it automatically just by virtue of me being there. So getting these other demographics in the door and on stage is very important to me. And people respond. Like, that's why these shows are packed out, is because I'm getting like the most brilliant comics I can find, and putting them on stage, and it's voices that they may not have necessarily heard before. So it's been really fun.
Well, I'm a native myself. As of last weekend, Poospatuck, but I think they're a fake tribe on Long Island. Who basically they became a tribe just to sell weed. It's a reservation that is just about selling weed. But it's not really. But I have to say I don't know any native comedians. Give us some names that people should follow. You got anybody that like natives we should look up? Native comedians.
Like I've booked a few. Hold on a second. Let me go to my list here so I can. Right. So I'm not. Leave.
Did we lose him? Lose him where he went to the list.
Well, I'll fill in. He was going to say running with jokes. He was going to say dances with punchlines.
Running with the devil.
Maybe it was GD's bad mic, or the no mic that he's using that pushed him away.
Wow. Well, while we have a moment, hopefully Chad will reconnect here. YouTube.com/@minddog/community, the daily poll. We want to, and you people on Instagram, you can go there too. Let us know how you would rather die, brain worms or ass cancer. This is the big question we're asking. I didn't look at the poll and how the poll is doing and whether anybody's actually registering answers on it yet. But I'm curious. What is these? You're back?
Hey, sorry.
Hey, no, that's it.
Yeah, there's a ton of native comics. Corey Herrera is a brilliant one. But they're like, check out Albuquerque and Santa Fe's scene. There's what's his name? I'm trying to think. There's a guy that draws cartoons for the Santa Fe newspaper and the Taos newspaper. Without Reservations is his comic strip, and I'm blanking on his name. And I'm so sorry, but like there's a bunch of really, really great comics. Just check out New Mexico's natives, like just in general. They're across the board.
I'm just curious though. Well, what? Because obviously prejudice, whatever. But we have every other kind of ethnicity that I am aware of in comedy clubs on a national stage. I don't see any natives, or at least they don't talk about it. They don't talk about this ethnicity, maybe, but I don't see any. I've never heard of native comedians. That's one thing I'm really curious about. Like,
yeah, I'm going to try to change that. That's really my main goal, is to bring more of these people some more heat, because they deserve it.
Yeah, I get it. Well, I hope they got good weed. That's all I'm saying.
That's the thing about here. Like, dude, weed is legal in New Mexico, and everybody in my community grows their own. There's like 22 dispensaries at Taos, which is a small town of 6,000. It's weird. And that's what I keep saying. It's like, I think we could have another dispensary out here, but literally everybody in my community grows their own weed, and they want to try yours. They want you to try theirs. And so half of every bartering situation is weed. I gave a guy a ride the other day, and he gave me an ounce of Killer, and I was like, dude, that's too much. he's like, no, I've got like 50 pounds at the house. I don't know what to do with, you know?
Hold on. I have to relocating to New Mexico.
Same.
Hey,
it's
Chad,
it's a pretty great place. I'll tell you that.
What sounds like a new Amway.
GD, Ron is speaking. It's been it's only second time this year. Let it happen.
Hey, Chad, what's the best way I can reach out to you?
Oh, my website is fucktexas.org. And I'm Chad Ryden, ChadRiden everywhere on the internet. And but yeah, my website's fucktexas.org. Hit me up at any of the social media or through my website, and that's a great way to get to me.
Fucktexas.org? Seriously?
Yeah.
I did not know. Why is that
Yeah.
not from your main site? Why is that not
I
linked
mean,
there?
I've got chadryden.com too, but like I've been doing a bit like Fuck Texas for a while, and anytime I've got something fun like that, I'll just buy the domain name. It's $10. Who cares?
Excellent. Yeah, I like it. I want to move to New Mexico now that you described it like that. When I first moved to New Mexico, we used to have to go to actual old Mexico to buy weed and then like smuggle it across. It was actually it was coming off a dry state area. Yeah.
Do what?
Alcohol was only legal about 3 years when I first moved there. It was a dry state in the 70s. Until mid 70s, it was a dry state, so we had to go to Texas to buy booze. We had to go to Lubbock or Amarillo, or first decent town on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, I drink way less at this altitude. I'm at 7,200 feet here. Taos claims the hilarious altitude of 69, but I was at 600 feet elevation for 30 years. Like coming up here, if I have 2 or 3 beers, I shouldn't drive. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. There is something, to the natives, because they used to very racist thing. And I'm gonna, it's my wheelhouse, I guess, the racism. This is what I bring. But natives drinking alcohol. They used to say alcohol and Indians don't mix. But we had lots of like people walking across the road drunk all the time. Another native getting hit on 70. A lot of, and I think it probably the elevation more than the racial makeup is when you're up high that way, your blood does thin out and whatever, it fucks with your metabolism.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, my friend Ralphie May had a very famous incident in Denver where he like had problems on stage because like he wasn't much of a drinker, but he took an edible and he had a beer or two, or maybe, I don't know, but like he fell out, and then and he's a big guy, he could take his booze, and but then like most recently Nick Swartzen had problems in Denver where he was just completely incoherent on stage, and people were trashing him, but it's just like, he's a heavy drinker and he's been doing comedy for a minute. He knows, that you can't really do that at elevation, but he still had problems on stage, and it was not good. It was not pretty, but you have to be careful, man. It like elevation sickness is a thing, whether you're drinking or not. And you really have to monitor what you're doing, what you're intaking up here. People get reckless, but you got to rest. You got to drink a lot of water and lay off the booze, dude. It's a killer.
Yeah. So before we let you go, like describe really what you got going on. You're building a house out there, but in Taos, it's like, are you disconnected from the town completely? I think you said you're building a comedy club there, not on your property.
Yeah,
right?
Well, my property. So Taos Comedy owns a 1/4 acre out here, and the Taos Comedy nonprofit is building a comedy club here, right next to the Holy Motherfucking Trinitarian Church, which is where I live. It's completely off the grid. We are, if you remember the wedding scene from Natural Born Killers, where they're on that giant bridge and she throws her veil off into the river. That's where I live. It's right over there, about 2 miles away. But that bridge didn't exist until like the 60s. And so in the 1950s, a man came out here and bought up hundreds and hundreds of acres for almost nothing, because it's useless land and it would never be connected to utilities. And so he went to the 1963 World's Fair and he set up a little booth where you could enter to win beautiful vacation property. And they didn't say off the grid back then, but in the wilderness of Taos Comedy, and he had a little cartoon map of the Pueblo and like big game elk hunting and the Rio Grande rafting and skiing, and all that's true, but it's on the other side of the river, on this other side of the gorge. And it was inaccessible from this place over here. It'd take an hour and a half, 2 hours to get here from Taos. And so people entered to win, and magically every straight white male who already owned a home magically won and got a letter in the mail saying, hey, you won this quarter acre of land in beautiful Taos County. If you want to upgrade, it's just $50 to get it deeded into your name, which costs $7. And he's like, but if you want to upgrade, you can buy the quarter acres around you and expand. And so some people did, and they started showing up out here and realized they got scammed because there's no way, there's no roads, there's no water, there's no electricity, there never will be. And so people just kind of formed a class action lawsuit to shut this guy down. And so the property that had been sold already was out on the market and deeded to people, but whatever wasn't got confiscated and is still kind of under control by the state. And so this community kind of developed where it's people out here living off the grid. You have to provide your own utilities because there are none. And so that's what I'm doing is kind of building with that in mind. So I'm providing my own utilities and stuff out here, but it's fun. But now that bridge is here, I can get to Taos in a mere 45 minutes. So it's much more accessible, but it's 20 minutes for me to get to the nearest pavement, and it's been raining for 2 days. So I ain't getting out on these roads,
Wow. It's been raining for 2 days. That's unusual. So I'm imagining you're buying all these solar generators. I mean, where are you getting your utilities from? How are you getting power?
I've got solar panels, and I'm getting ready to add a wind turbine. And that's where electricity is coming from. It is very windy. It is very windy. What happened?
The windmills will give eagles cancer, and birds will be falling out of the sky, and bald guys in New York will be getting ass cancer from your windmills.
I'm confident that it'll be okay. But my electrical is coming from the solar panels right now, and we're doing rainwater collection and filtering that. And you can get a sewage tank. You can get a sewage tank put in anywhere. Right. It's pretty.
Right. Well, when I get my ass cancer, I am going to blame you for your dumb windmill.
Blame whoever you want. You'll never find me.
I will. We're coming out there to do the show live from Taos, New Mexico.
Oh, you'll see me at shows, but like at my place, boy, I could give you the GPS coordinates. You still wouldn't be able to find it.
My ass cancer, it will zoom in on the windmill. They're connected.
That's all right. I got off-road tires. I'll get there.
I feel like I'm jinxing myself by keep saying this ass cancer thing. It's like one of these things I'm joking about, and then joke's on you. Maybe I should shut the fuck up.
One of my favorite phrases is, I'd rather die in a fire than do blank. And it's like, I told my daughters, like, it's hilarious because I'm going to die in a fire for sure because I keep saying this. Right. And when it happens, everybody's going to be like, look, that's what he wanted. He kept saying he would rather die in a fire,
I'm going to say when I die, I'm going to be killed, fucked to death by a supermodel. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry.
I need somebody to fuck me to death. That's what needs to happen.
It will be GD.
I'm not doing it.
Bad luck. Should have been more specific.
No.
Well, we do appreciate you being part of the program. I'm pretty sure Ron will, before the day is over, Ron will show up on your property, GPS or no.
Good luck.
Find you.
Good luck. These roads are mud pits. Like you need four-wheel drive to get out to my place, and even people who know this neighborhood can't find it. I like telling people I'm on the edge of the universe. It's pretty crazy.
Very cool. Well, good for you. I mean, that's the place to be. I'm jealous because even though I'm in New York, this has been my goal, which is why I live in a part of New York that is extremely desolate. But just getting away from all the fucking madness. Good for you, man.
Yeah, thanks. It's a lot of fun. And anybody who wants to learn how to build sustainably, I'm organizing volunteer days out here. Right now, we're doing about 2 or 3 a week because it is build season. and we're building homes for people. Right now, we're working on a super Adobe or hyper Adobe house for a single mother and her 11-year-old child just up the hill from me. We'll be done with that here in a couple of weeks, and I'm building out here. But we're doing stuff for people who are trying to build sustainably off the grid, and maybe they don't have any money, but we're coming together as a community to help them. If you're interested in that kind of building and that kind of work, hit me up. I'm all over the internet. And if you want to do comedy out here, hit me up as well. And if you just want to watch me fumble in the dirt, I'm all over YouTube too. So check it out.
Very cool. Well, thanks for being here. We will send people to fucktexas.org and chadryden.com. And I'm going to be reaching out to Sean. I didn't know that's how you pronounce her name. Now I know. I kept saying Cian. Like, that's a weird name. Yeah.
She's a delight.
I'm very
We'd love to hear from you, I'm sure.
Well, great. It's been great having you and great to meet you, and wish you the best of luck with what you got going on out there. And if there's anything I can help publicize, just let me know. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Have a great life.
Thanks, Chad.
Have a great day and a great Monday and a great rest of your week. And hopefully we'll see you again. Bye.
Yeah, please.
Bye. Chad Ryden, folks. Very cool stuff. Yes, you're
oh yeah, he was awesome.
Why is Ron here? Ron is in my spot.
Christ, Ron! Oh my God!
Yeah,
Chaos.
that's what we do.
Monday
morning. Listen, it was 7:15, or actually 7 o'clock when he first logged in. I'm even here 7. At 7 o'clock in the morning is deadly for me. So I appreciate him doing that. Good, and thanks to Craig for having him on. Anyway, we do have to get to news. We're like 20 minutes late on news. Not that anybody's I just want to bring this up. Did you see this? Let me bring it up. That is the Gretchen Whitmer. She's the governor of Minnesota, right?
Michigan.
Oh,
Michigan? No, Minnesota.
Michigan.
Michigan? All right, governor of Michigan. I'm just thinking the attempted kidnapping of her had nothing to do with politics. Right?
Probably not.
It was just some horned up fucking MAGA idiots who hadn't gotten laid in a year and probably saw her dance and said, oh, I got to get me some of that. But I just want to say she can govern the hell out of me anytime she wants. She, wow, I want a governor like that. Why can't we have
uber mandatory?
I think my vote. You got my vote.
You have Holcomb. What are you complaining about?
Makes me want to vote so hard.
I'm gonna vote. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's time for news. Are you excited about news?
Kathy Holcomb. What are you complaining about?
You know what? She's retarded. That's what I'm retarded. That's what.
But you haven't seen her dance. You have not seen her YouTube dance video yet.
I'm not.
I don't know how she got. I know how she got governor. Cuomo got thrown out or forced to resign over being a sexist pig. Like, there's anything wrong with being a sexist pig in New York? We've had Elliot Spitzer. We've had governors. We had Nelson Rockefeller, who died in bed with a 20-year-old girl or something.
We had that Giuliani was never governor, right? He was just mayor.
Yeah, he was just mayor.
Okay.
Why do you bring him up?
Because of the sex things. He was having an affair. He divorced his wife to marry his cousin.
I don't know. I can't hear you. News is
Dr.
playing.
Anthony Fauci, the former long-serving director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, has been hospitalized with the West Nile virus and is now recovering at home.
Fauci, who served on the White House Coronavirus Task Force, is expected to make a full recovery, according to his spokesman who spoke to CNN and The Washington Post. The 83-year-old Fauci also served as chief medical advisor to both former President Donald Trump and President Joe Biden before retiring on December 31st, 2022. Currently, there is no no vaccine or specific treatment for West Nile virus. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Ukraine and Russia exchanged 115 prisoners of war each, totaling 230 individuals in a swap brokered by officials in the United Arab Emirates on Saturday.
82 of the Ukrainian prisoners were captured during the defense of Mariupol by
bomb on
Russian
this
forces,
news.
while the Russian POWs were taken during recent Ukrainian attacks in Russia's Kursk region. Zelensky stated that Ukrainian officials are working tirelessly to bring them all back from Russian captivity. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
Authorities probing the sinking of a super yacht off the Sicilian coast that resulted in 7 fatalities have launched a manslaughter investigation.
We have opened a case against unknown individuals under the suspicion of negligent shipwreck manslaughter, stated Ambrosio Cartosio, the chief prosecutor of Termini Imerese, Sicily, during a Saturday press conference. Cartosio added, "We are ensuring the investigation remains confidential as required by law." Liam White reporting.
German police have detained a 15-year-old boy and are working to determine if he is connected to the stabbing that left several people injured at a music festival in Solingen.
3 people were killed in the attack, with 8 others wounded, 4 of whom are reported to be in very serious condition. Authorities continue to search for the assailant. The victims include 2 men, aged 67 and 57, and a woman aged 56, according to police. Benjamin Wright reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
This is... Come on. Al.
A second former Memphis police officer facing federal charges in connection with the fatal beating of Tyre Nichols has entered a guilty plea just weeks before the trial was scheduled to start, according to court documents.
Emmett Martin III, one of 5 former officers indicted last year on federal civil rights, conspiracy, and obstruction charges related to Nichols' death, initially pleaded not guilty, but has now admitted guilt to 2 charges during a plea hearing in federal court in Memphis. Paul Gomez reporting.
A 33-year-old woman has been missing since Thursday after a flash flood swept through Grand Canyon National Park, officials said.
Search and rescue teams are actively looking for Chenoa Nickerson from Gilbert, Arizona, who was carried away by the floodwaters into a creek last Thursday afternoon, according to the National Park Service. The flash flood struck Havasu Creek just before 1:30 p.m. local time on Thursday, the NPS reported. Kevin Sanders reporting.
A New York mother is accused of driving the wrong way on a highway while under the influence of drugs, leading to a severe 4-car crash that killed her 9-year-old son, state police reported.
The fatal accident occurred early Thursday in Suffolk County, Long Island. Police identified Carrie Bedrick, 32, as the driver of the wrong-way SUV involved in the collision. Her son, Eli Henrys, who was in the back seat, was killed in the crash, authorities said. Bedrick faces multiple charges related to drug use and driving offenses, according to online court records. Jessica Oakley reporting.
A rare but lethal disease spread by mosquitoes has prompted the town of Plymouth in Massachusetts.
That felt good. Now, this wrong-way driver, I don't know if the roads, the roads are the same everywhere. How do you get on a road? You're going the wrong way on an interstate. Oh, speaking of mosquitoes. But I've never been that fucked up. And I've been fucked up. But I've never been that fucked up where I thought to myself, this doesn't, I feel like I might be driving the wrong way. Oh, there's headlights coming at me. Maybe I should get the fuck off into the shoulder and like kind of. How do you drive the wrong way on an interstate? How?
I don't know. We had a councilman in South Bend that did the same fucking thing. Got trashed, went on the wrong side of the road, caused an accident, and I don't get it either. Makes no sense to me.
No, it happens plenty without even anyone drinking. You'd be surprised how many people actually get on the wrong way of ramps and shit, and they're not.
But how long does it take you to figure it out? Wait a minute, I gotta get the fuck out.
When the headlights start coming towards you.
Yeah,
right.
I would think instantly you would know. Wait a minute, this doesn't feel like, or somebody getting off. Because if you're on the ramp, you're on an off ramp. Then you're not on an on ramp. They don't have on ramps and going the wrong way.
Well, if the ramp is more like sometimes the ramp is actually more like a turn onto a street. You turn left or right, and then you're actually on the highway, and then it just merges. So it doesn't look like a ramp; it just looks like a street. And you would think that people would realize when they see that the yellow line is on their right side instead of the left, that they're going in the wrong direction. But
let's be clear. This has happened to you, hasn't it?
No, but I lived in Florida, and in Florida, it was a very common occurrence. That and elderly people getting stuck in roundabouts.
Well, also, fucking alligators is a very common occurrence in Florida.
That's not as common as you think. It's just that the few times it does happen, it gets publicized very much. So
if it happens once, it's more often than it happens in New York.
Well, that's because in New York you don't have primo gator. You have like sewer gators.
Rats. They have rats.
And rats.
Yeah, rats. Nobody ever fucks the rats. I've never heard. I don't know. Where is there an article of a guy like fucking a rat?
Giuliani's had sex.
There's an article. The culprit. The article is about a man named Charles Darwin. Not Charles Darwin. Rupert Darwin. His name was Rupert Darwin in Florida, and the newspaper article. Gosh, man, it says something about it talks about the different types of animals that people can have sex with, but not in a good way. They were just saying how
in a good way. What's the delineator of good and bad way?
But the thing is, they said people have had sex with animals, and they listed animals like parrots, rats and stuff like that. So they've listed, and a parrot was the smallest animal, I think, on the list. I think, but it was this was back in 2015 or 2016. So I'm having trouble remembering all the details.
All right, fine. Are you guys familiar with Sean Smith? I did not. Again, I'm shocked that SIA.
I am. I am. I know Sean Smith. Yeah.
I don't know that. How do you know her?
Not at all. Like
I thought maybe you went to Australia with a few bucks in your pocket. I knew she's a working prostitute and combines it with comedy. I think she did a nude. Listen, I'm so stupid and old and Alzheimer's filled and brain worms and ass cancer and all that stuff. But I have it in my mind that she did a stand-up comedy show completely nude. And I remember thinking, there's no way I could fucking concentrate on the jokes. I don't care, it could be anybody.
Maybe that
man,
was the point.
woman,
Maybe
doing
that was
it
the
naked.
point.
What do you mean? Don't listen to my jokes?
Right. She was like, I don't have any new material, but I got this gig. Everybody's heard all the jokes. I'll just take my clothes off. No one's going to listen to. She actually probably just gave weather reports, and nobody knew.
Well, if anybody's in the chat room, correct me if I'm wrong on that, because I could be just fucking. Maybe I just imagine that.
I mean, it's not super like unheard of. There's in Indianapolis they do these scantily clad and nude comedy shows.
Scanty clad is definitely different than nude. I mean,
but they have nude people too. I mean, they advertise it as a nude show, then it's just based on the comfort of the comic. But yeah, they have some here in Indy. I don't get it either, but they do.
Who's the audience for that? Like, because me,
pervy old guys mostly.
I like, well, I am a pervy old guy, but I don't like to mix my nudity with my comedy.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
If I were to do that show,
keep doing it
my stage name would probably be Wee Wee Herman, or maybe Pee Wee Humor or something like that. I just couldn't do it under my own name.
See, if Ralphie May did comedy that way, I would have probably enjoyed that. But that's a whole different thing.
He mentioned that like sex workers in Australia get paid to sleep with the mentally disabled. That's really cool. And in Sweden, they do a similar thing, but if you're physically disabled or mentally disabled, they give you a monthly stipend to go get a prostitute.
See, the thing is, I've been having sex with mentally disabled people my entire life free. I wonder if I could get like retroactively paid for that. Like
maybe maybe in Australia.
Back pay.
Time served.
You want back pay. You want back pay for putting people on their back.
Backside pay.
Back shot, back pay.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. I feel like I deserve something. I've been overlooked.
Probably
As far
deserve something, and it's probably something that's
Brainworms,
fixable
ass
with
cancer.
penicillin. Yeah.
So this week was Friday. I officially become an old man. Now, we've been an old man for a long time, but I officially become an old man. My brother told me that part of my officially becoming an old man is they give me a card that I can spend on groceries every month. Are you aware of this? Does old people get this?
I think that's part of the Medicare program, right?
Medicare, yeah.
I get it too.
I did not. I'm excited about this. I mean,
It's nice. It's nice. A little, you can save a little few extra bucks of your own money and use that. And
being an old guy,
living off the country again. You fucking
What?
liberals living off the country. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, with Steven, I don't like it because he's obviously scamming. He could actually be out there being a productive member of society. He chooses to play this fake I got some kind of disability nonsense.
I didn't want to wait till I was old. I wanted it
You're not going to get
now.
old. Well, let's face it. We know you're not going to make it to my age. You're not.
Oh no, I'll be happy with like 45.
That'll be here.
You ain't putting your mouth to end it all.
Yeah, it's going to get here a lot faster than you can imagine. So don't say that. But I don't have a lot of faith in you making it to my age. I don't have a lot of faith in me making it to my age.
I'll say, you know what? I don't know. Seeing as how I'm already living like I'm your age, I might just cruise past it just because I'm already like, halfway there.
Why do you feel like you have prostate cancer at least? I mean, I don't feel like I have an enlarged prostate.
I pee like 14 times a night. I'm grumpy. I yell at kids on my lawn. Viagra on the nightstand. I'm living your life, basically.
Steven, right? Steven, you do know those are your kids on your lawn, right?
I still tell them to fuck off and go away.
Okay, I'm just saying that could be a different issue. Okay.
I looked out my window, my side window yesterday, and there was a black woman sitting on the steps in my side yard, and I don't know, am I allowed to yell at her, or am I going to be called a Karen? Like, what are you doing in my yard? Oh, what are you, prejudiced, rather bigot? No, there's just a stranger in my yard.
I think you're well within your rights to be like, yo,
I was intimidated. I just let her sit there. I didn't want my fear of being a Karen kept me from saying.
What if she was scoping out your place for like her boyfriend and his homies to come rob you or something?
Probably the case because she was black. I mean, all those black people. That's
not because she's black. It could have been anybody out there that would have said the same thing.
I don't.
It's just because she's black, you can almost guarantee it.
You didn't say anything when there was a white woman sitting on Matt's yard. As a matter of fact, Matt didn't even mention it. He didn't even bring it to the radio show. There was a white.
He doesn't refer to his wife as just some white lady, though. That's different.
Oh, okay.
I think I do.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember.
You guys been friends for like 63 years, so that makes sense.
There was a white woman in his yard feeding animals, and he just videotaped it. He didn't call the police.
I saw the video.
Yeah.
He even laughed at
videotaped it. Yeah.
There's lots of them. Lots of that going on. Yesterday, I was out there, and nobody was videotaping me feeding the deer. Now, I did have. Speaking of race, I had a albino deer in my yard yesterday.
Oh, I had one. I had one too. Now it's weird. It's weird because it's the only one we had. I mean, it's kind of rare, but
see, what Matt doesn't know is he became Puspatuk, and that was actually his spirit guide coming to visit him. But he was so stoned, he was just like, "Oh shit, it's a white deer." Yeah, that's what happened.
Could be. Now I looked out my kitchen window, and I could see in the brush over the hills leading into the back area of the property, which nobody ever goes near because it's haunted and Sasquatch and all that kind of stuff and vampires. It wasn't windy, but this one branch was moving like crazy. And my wife said, well, that's a deer eating. I was like, no, I don't think it's a deer. It's definitely an animal out there. I'm kind of a little nervous about what it might really be. I don't want to go out there and find a bear. I don't want to find a bear.
Squirrel.
No, it was moving way. It was a tree that was like really moving.
Sasquatch then.
Big squirrel, a really big squirrel.
Well, I hope it was a squirrel, but I was really concerned about going out there. I'm like hostage in my house now. Like I'm afraid to go out in my yard because there might be a bear out there.
My house is surrounded by white deers and black ladies and monsters in the woods. Hell.
Yeah.
White deer and black bear.
Right. White deer and black bear. That's got to be a movie. White devil, black
start of a movie.
It's an album.
All right. What do we got? What's of interest this week? Has the nonsense with the supposed buzz off of RFQ becoming a Trumper? Is that subsided yet, or are people still talking about that? Like
they were talking about this morning anyway. But
I thought it was over already.
Yeah, they're talking about more is that like how can it impact the polls? You know, and I think they're waiting for the debate because I think looks like Trump is trying to get out of the debate again.
He is trying to get out of it. He's trying to chicken out. He's trying to pull up Sir Robin who chickened out. He ran away.
He's trying, man.
Now, do you give any credence to this idea that Trump is about to dump Vance? Do you think that? No.
You have to change too many things on the ticket. It's too many legal loopholes to go through.
He probably wants to, but the people behind him's like, dummy, you can't. You've made your bed, now fucking lie in it.
Well, it's not anything on couch, but whatever.
Why can't he?
Well, no, I'm not saying he can't, but I'm saying he's.
No, Ron said he can't. Got to lay. He made his bed. He's got to lay in it.
You have to get your name on the ballots, and those things. There's deadlines for those things.
Yeah,
I think deadlines
not for the running mate. For Trump is already on the ballot. He can't just change his running mate. I think
he's not kicking him to the side. It's too late. It's almost September. I mean, it would be great, but he won't kick. I doubt it.
Well, he's been posting out that this is the winning ticket. Him and Kennedy, like it's like Vance is a forgotten man now, which is what I think is what's fueling all the conjecture that he might be doing that.
So, what are we thinking? Like what he's going to end up ditching Vance and picking up Kennedy as his VP?
Yeah.
Ooh. And then we would actually have ass cancer and brain worms running the country.
That's exactly where the poll came up because it's like that's our choice right now. They got together. Ass cancer and brain worms got together to sponsor this program. This
know what though?
Let me just bring up again. There is a live poll on YouTube. You can go check it out right now. It's youtube.com /@minddog/community. You'll see the poll there. Would you rather die of brain worms or ass cancer?
Now, I have a poll on my YouTube page, and it's which Coffee with the Dog host do you want to see naked?
Well, see, look, I have a poll, and I'll show it to you if you want. But, I wonder if RFK kisses Trump's ass enough, if it'll turn into ass worms, and then, ass worms 2024.
I'm just seeing if there's any votes yet on this dopey poll. Nobody's
I'd buy that T-shirt.
Anybody voting on my dopey poll? I want to see people voting on my dopey poll.
I voted on the favorite Costner movie.
Hold on. 75% so far. Ass cancer is winning. I don't know how many people have voted. Ass cancer is winning 3-1.
So wow! There you go. 4 people voted.
I don't think people understand just how painful and a little bit itchy ass cancer could be.
Well, I think people are just protecting.
I love that response.
I'd much rather have a pain in the ass than like a terrible headache or something, So.
I don't think you get a headache with the brain worm. I think you just get stupid. And listen, we already got that.
Yeah, we're halfway there. So,
like to Chad's point, you don't even know you got a brain worm. And I mean, the doctors would know, but you don't know. You're like Glenn Campbell. Listen, I'm not being mean to Glenn Campbell. I'm envious of the state that Glenn Campbell was in when his wife said, "What day is it?" And he said, "I don't need to know that. I don't know. That is bliss. That is somebody's taking care of all your needs, and you don't need to know anything about anything. I'll sign up for that tomorrow, right? I'll sign up for that right now.
It depends on which part of the brain the worm is eating. If it starts eating your occipital lobe, you could lose your eyesight. Okay, you'd be blind.
And I don't have to look at you.
Okay, I'm just saying it depends on what part of the brain the worm is eating as to how
I'm practically blind anyway. Haven't you noticed? You've seen my typing, and I'm practically blind anyway. These eyes are no good for anything.
See, I'm back to ass cancer because I don't want to have more disabilities. So yeah, I'm back to ass cancer. I don't want to go blind and deaf.
I just assumed you already had ass cancer, sitting as much as you do.
And actually,
if you're hemorrhoids, that's different.
If you're unemployed, you don't know what day it is. So what does it matter?
Unless you're doing a daily show. If you're doing a daily show,
not really. Not really.
Yeah, because in the beginning, at the top of the hour, Matt says the date and the time. Not the time, but the day and the date. He goes, today is Monday, August 26th. And then you know.
I do that for my own benefit, so that when I'm going back like 5 years from now to say, when was this show? What was I talking about? I know I can go back to the beginning and check out exactly when it was. That's
but you don't know what year. You don't say the year. You just say August 20.
I do say the year. I say 2024.
You do?
I'll play the. Don't make me play the tape.
Roll the tape.
No,
roll the tape.
I just said I stopped listening after the 20. After you do the date, I don't even listen to the year.
I stop listening after I say.
It's like somebody has the brain worms.
Anyway, what do you guys got? We are kind of. Aren't we late into this fucking catastrophe? No, it's only an hour and 45 minutes in. We do have to say goodbye to Govs. That's what that alarm was. Last